So in this position, the two pawns are separated by three ranks, and this is the knight pawn, this is the bishop's pawn. But in this case, if the knight's pawn was like here and both the pawns were on the same rank, then and then it would have been the uh, sorry this yeah anyways. So if they were on the same height or whatever that is, then this would have been a win for white, but the knight's pawn is a bit too advanced, and that is why this is a draw. Now let's see why this is a draw, how this is a draw. Now king goes here, and after this move, king g5. This is the only move to stop the king from going to from here. Now let's see why is that. Let's what if the bishop repeats? King goes here. Let's say bishop repeats again. King goes here, goes again, and let's say king goes here, bishop goes here. Now this is a zugzwang, and now bishop has to go back, because if the bit stays in this diagonal, then the pawn would promote, and so bishop goes back here, king goes here. Now bishop gives a check, king goes up, bishop goes back again, king goes here, bishop goes here, and now this is the second zugzwang, bishop e6. Now again bishop has to move. No, because bishop can't just keep control of this square, not let the king come in. So bishop goes back here. Let's say king goes here, bishop gives a check, king goes here, bishop goes here, king goes here, bishop goes here, and the next move, one would push, and white would just win the game, because bishop is probably protecting the pawn, and will get the king out of here and then promote the pawn. And so that's why king g5 is what we need to play instead of repeating with the bishop when if we are black. And after this, king goes to after the f3, king goes to g5, so king goes to e4, and now king goes back to f6, king goes here, and now bishop bishop would go here anyways. So king goes here. Now king goes to e7, not letting the king enter from this part of the board. King goes to b6, and now bishop goes here, and now the king can't even go from enter from here. So this is why this is a draw, and yeah, that's why the knight pawn shouldn't be very advanced, because the king is obstructed by its own pawn. King can't go here because the pawn is on this square. If this was the position, this is winning for white, but because of this, the pawn itself is obstructing the king from promoting the pawn. So that's why this is the draw. So this is a position. This is a position where the knight's pawn is on the 6th rank and is 2 squares away from promotion, but the next step of the next square is controlled by the defending bishop, and this is the position. So the king is here, this king is here, and now let's play. This is also a draw, because eventually when the king comes here, the bishop will stay here and control these 2 squares, not letting the king enter, and the king is obstructed by this pawn, knight's pawn. So let's go. Bishop goes here, king goes to g3, goes to f5, king goes to h4, and now we have to play king g6, otherwise it's a draw. Otherwise it's a win, because king would go from here and then get here, promote the attack the bishop and promote the pawn. And so after this, king h4, we have to play king g4, king g6, and now Now after king g4, now we give this check with a bishop. King goes to f3. We give another check with a bishop. King goes to e3. Now king goes to f5. Not letting the king get go any further, not getting the king more active also. And now let's go to king here. Now king would go here, king goes here, and this is like another blockade where the king can't really enter any further, and so that's why this is also a draw. So this is a similar situation when the knight pawn and the two pawns are separated by three ranks, and in this situation the knight pawn is in the same level as the bishop's pawn, and so it is easier for the king to get to the promotion square before the pawn obstructs it, and so this is a win for white. Now let's see how the white king would win. White would win this game. So first we need to also get this bishop out of here, because if the bishop is here it would also obstruct the king in getting to the promotion square. So king bishop would go here, this bishop would just repeat whatever, then bishop would go here, now king would go to c4 and bishop goes here. So bishop just gets out of this king's way to get to the promotion square, and after this king goes back to d5, king goes here, king goes there, and king goes to, let's see, here, not here, actually bishop goes here, so to play a waiting move. Otherwise if you go there, then this is a good move for white, and so that's why after this bishop is a waiting move. Now king goes to g3, king goes to e4, and now we play this move to protect this pawn, and after king goes here we play this. Now because of this, these two squares, after going f3 back, king can't go here again and try to block the king, and after this the bishop would go give a check, king here, and now bishop would go here because the king has to also block this pawn from getting further. So king would go here and bishop would go back, and now this king can easily threaten this bishop by attacking. This pawn is protected by this bishop, and so this is a win because the pawn is not shoppable. Even if like it goes here, we can just, after bishop takes, king takes, and this is a win because there is an extra pawn and you can promote it to a queen, and so that's why this position was a win, just because the this pawn was behind the, like at the same level and not very extremely up, so that's why this is a win for white. So this is a situation when the two pawns are separated by three files, and one of them is a rook pawn, the other pawn is a central pawn. This could be from the other side also, where this the pawn will be here and the other pawn will be here. So in any file, in any like rank, anything, these two pawns, the rook pawn and the central pawn, will always win no matter what, and that is because in this case the king has a lot of freedom, and the pawn is at the edge, so the king can just slide in. But it's not possible in this situation, because once the king goes here, the king goes here. So to avoid this, and the king can't go jump here because the king is controlling this square, and to avoid this, first we have to lure the king to the other side. So by luring the king, we mean like getting the king on this black king on here, and then we move with the white king and kind of leave him in the dust. So king goes here, king goes to f4, trying to not let him outflank very easily. King goes to f4, and after bishop king to e2, now bishop plays a waiting move because the king can't go here. For example, if bishop goes here, king goes here, then we can easily play e5 and make the pawn more advance even further. So the king will stay here and bishop moves here. So king goes here, bishop goes back, king goes here, bishop goes back up, king goes here, and now bishop will stop the king from going any further. And now this is the start of a zugzwang. So first bishop goes here, and so here the king goes here, and now in this position, why could the king not go here earlier? Because when the bishop was here, king couldn't go here because pawn pushes, and when the king tries to take, the pawn would push again because this bishop was here. But when the bishop goes to b7, now we can play this, because the next move the king would just catch it, and the bishop is not fast enough to protect the pawn, and so that's why king goes here. And now we play this move, bishop c6, forcing the king to go back, and then we go here, because if here the king or the bishop, either of them have to move, the king can't go back because you just go ahead. So king goes here again, no other move left, and so now the bishop goes here. This is the first zugzwang, and after this move the king can't go here because the pawn would push. So bishop goes here, king goes here, and king goes here, king goes here, king goes here, and now king goes here. So in this way we can kind of slowly progress in the position. And after this, let's go king can go back here, king goes here, king goes back, you can play a waiting move, king goes here, king goes here, king goes here, and slowly we can kind of get control of this square of get here. And now king, have to get the king away from this part of the board, we can play this move. This is the second zugzwang, and now either bishop can't go anywhere because this part of the board is also important. So king would go here. Now we can just push, and we can just slowly get the pawn forward and win the game. So this is how we can win with white when there are two pawns. One of them is a rook pawn, and the king is easily able to go from this side, so that's why the king would be forced to go here. And so when we go from this side of the board, the queen will follow, and then we can kind of easily win the game. So that's how this one is done.